Happy Victory Monday, Dolphins fans. It's the first one of the year, technically, because the last time Miami won was on Monday night, so it was a Victory Tuesday. But we're here to celebrate the Dolphins' Week 8 win in Atlanta and talk about the latest news surrounding this football team as Miami is now 2-6 and has a short week against the Baltimore Ravens at home this upcoming Thursday. An intriguing battle between a 2-6 Dolphins team and a 2-5 Baltimore Ravens squad. We'll have some injury news, why this win against Atlanta is even better than I think most fans realize. We have a lot to discuss here on a Dolphins Victory Monday. Appreciate everybody spending their afternoon hanging out with us here. We'll welcome in producer Jeffrey Cooperstein. Also, shout out your city for me down in the comments section. Where are you watching from? Let me know where the 70 real ones are right now. Let me hear it, as I had to go pick up a kicker for tonight's fantasy game because Matthew Wright is going to be kicking in place of Matt Gay.
You had Matt Gay on your fantasy team?
I did, yes.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I
picked him up.
I did pick up Matthew Wright.
All right.
I also need Matthew Wright to have a big game.
Oh, my. Good luck.
Ready for this, Coop? As we'll give some shout-outs here in a second. I'm up by 25 points with Matthew Wright left, facing Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, the Chiefs defense, and Harrison Butker.
Oh, boy. You need him to have about 15 points.
I'm projected to lose by about 10.
Yeah.
So I just need maybe Matthew Wright to have 5 more points than usual, or 5 more points than the projected 7.
You need him to knock down a couple.
I need him to have like 12 fantasy points, and Pacheco, Rashee Rice, the Chiefs defense, and Butker to combine for 5 less than their projection.
Good luck.
Yeah, we'll see. Shout out to Tyson Bryant in Miami, Mythic in Georgetown, Kentucky, Bonbon in Treasure Coast. We got Santa Barbara, California for Chris Murphy. We got St. Lucie, Florida, Point St. Lucie, Florida, Spokane, Washington, Lincoln, Nebraska, Miami, Florida, Texas, South Carolina, Winston-Salem, LA, Miami, San Jose, California, the Bahamas. We got a lot of people in the building. Shout out to all the real ones hanging out with us. Actually saying playoffs. No. Don't
Big
go
game
that
this
far.
week.
Like I said it on our show this morning, there is no even consideration for me of this season going anywhere unless they clean out the next 3 games. Like if they beat the Ravens, Bills, Commanders in back-to-back-to-back weeks, as well as both games or 2 or 3 games being on prime time, all right.
We'll have a discussion.
We'll be 5-6 going into the bye. We can have a discussion, especially with the Jets and Saints being your 2 opponents coming out of the bye week. But, I mean, like, listen, it's not happening, and it would only spark a conversation if Miami legitimately went 3-0 over the next 3. And I feel like I have a better chance of winning the Powerball than that happened.
I'm not going to lie. If they beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I'll start to believe.
Will you really? Yeah? Interesting. Have the Fens ever beat the Bills? Yeah, they beat them once under Mike McDaniel. First time he played them.
Yep.
In 2022.
I was on that streak.
Really?
Yep.
Will Scott?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. And then I don't think they beat him since, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't believe.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Yeah,
that's the last time they beat
They
him.
lost this year. They got swept last year. I'm pretty sure they got swept in 2023.
They did.
So.
Yeah, that was the last time.
Yeah. The last time we beat the Bills was September of 2022, the first time Mike McDaniel coached against the Buffalo Bills. How about that? How's Willie Finns?
He's
doing
good, man.
Yeah, we were actually talking yesterday and Saturday.
I talked to him yesterday as well. He's doing good, man.
Yeah,
he's big time.
Yeah, he's a sports agent nowadays, man. How about that? It is Victory Monday. Span the W's. I want to see how the people are fired up here in the building on a Monday. You guys excited the Dolphins got a win? Let me see the W's, baby. Shout out to Aqua Club member and Hall of Famer MDW in the building. What's up, MDW? He's spamming his W's. Axie is Airplanes and Fun is spamming those W's. Joey D, Devon Tills, Chris Murphy. Gio Rizzo. Spam those W's, man. It's good. It's good to get a win, man. Tyson Bryant, Jeff.
Some people were rooting for a loss, but it always feels good on Monday after a win, man.
Correct.
It does.
Correct. And, like, here's the truth as well, Coop. Like, we can't control if the Dolphins win or lose.
Correct.
I'm just here to tell you, like, people are going to be like, oh, you're celebrating a win. Why? It's bad for you. Well, what do you want me to do? Get mad if they, like, win?
No, we won't do that. We are in the business of celebrating good things.
I don't make the decisions. I don't control the outcomes. I just react to them. And I'm going to be excited for a victory Monday. Why not? Tug of a low of 14, spamming those W's. Let's freaking go. All right, got a question for the real ones. Do you want to keep Mike McDaniel? This is probably an overreaction, and my answer certainly is more in line with, I think, the majority. But even after the Dolphins get the win, they're 2-6. Do you want to keep Mike McDaniel around as Miami Dolphins head coach? Y for yes, N for no. I see 50%, 56% of the live poll saying no, which is what I would say, by the way.
I would say no, but with the caveat of if they kept him through the season, I wouldn't be super angry about it.
Yeah, like, I certainly think he's going to be the coach of this team at least up until the bye week. Like I said this yesterday, Miami, if they lost to Atlanta in embarrassing fashion and then got smoked by the Ravens on primetime this
Big time
Thursday,
smoked.
I think he would have been fired on Friday. But with a win against Atlanta, and as long as they don't lose by like 50 against the Ravens, and they like keep it mostly competitive for most of that game, which I actually do think they will.
I was going to say I think they will too.
Because the Ravens simply aren't a team that are capable of blowing people out. The only game that they've blown someone out this year, they have 2 wins. It was against the Cleveland Browns. Like, their other win came this Sunday against the the Bears. So, like, I don't really think the Ravens are like that special of a team. I expect Miami to keep it close for most of that game. And as long as it's a competitive Thursday night football game, I think McDaniel's coaching this Thursday. He'll coach against the Bills, and he'll coach against the Commanders in Madrid. If the Dolphins lose all 3 of those games, okay, Stephen Ross very well may make a change at head coach after the Madrid game, because you have 2 weeks. You have your bye week after Madrid, and then you play the Saints coming out of the bye week, and that would be the most logical, sensible time to make a firing in season. So if you do fire Mike McDaniel, it's more likely than not happening after the Madrid game if you go 0-3. Not anytime sooner than that, and probably not anytime after. Like, let's be real here. Coop, let me know if you agree. If McDaniel makes it through the bye week and coaches that game against the Saints in Week 13, there's only like 4 weeks left in the year.
You might as well just
let him ride out the final game, final month and a half, 5 weeks of the year.
If he's not fired after the bye week,
before the bye week,
I mean, and he's still the coach heading in to the second half of the season, the proverbial second half of the season, I believe he will be the coach the rest of the season. Look, as we sit here right now, I believe he's going to be the coach for the rest of the season. But maybe that changes if they just completely shit the bed in the next 3 games. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. Like, I think that they can actually put together a good string of games here. I think they could go 2-1 in the next 3. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated. It is entirely possible that they go 2-1 over the next 3 games.
It certainly is. I mean, if you look at your next 3 opponents, the Ravens are 2-5. The Bills are 5-2, but they had a bad loss to the Falcons, a team that you just blew out. They also lost to the Patriots. Like, the Bills have not been a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. They also just had their best defensive player get hurt for an indefinite time period at Oliver, torn biceps. So the Bills are certainly beatable. You hung tough with them in Buffalo, in Miami. Can you take them down?
Exactly.
I think it could be a battle for sure. And then the Commanders, yeah, they have missed Jaden Daniels for almost, 3 weeks out of the season now, but they haven't been very good at all. Like, I'm not saying Miami is going to win 1 of these games. I'm not saying they're going to win 2. I'm not going to say they're going to win 3. Like, it could go either way. Like, if you told me the Dolphins ended up winning the next 3 games, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. If you told me they're going to lose the next 3, I'd say it's more likely, but it's also not the craziest. Like, I think any result is possible over the next 3 games. 3-0,
absolutely.
2-1, 1-2, 0-3. Any type of combination you want. I think all of that is on the table. So.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I don't know how much this will play an impact, but Ed Oliver is going to be out for that Bills game when we play them because he just had surgery. So he's probably out the rest of the season, a big defensive tackle. And that Buffalo Bills defense has not been that great this year.
Yeah.
So
listen, Miami had him on the ropes in Buffalo early in the year.
You can argue they should have won that game.
I will say they should have. Like, if Zach Sealer doesn't run into the punter on that 4th and short when we're tied at 21 halfway through the fourth quarter, like, I think Miami wins that game because the Dolphins just scored a touchdown. They just got a stop. They had a ton of momentum. They get the ball back. Like, I think they take a lead. Who says if they hold on to the lead? But they definitely, I think, go down the field and score because the Bills defense was not stopping them at that time. And then, obviously, we know what actually did happen. All right, we want to get today's show started here. Can we get 5 more likes? We have 5 more likes, we could start the stream. We got about 60 people watching, only 21 likes. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 25, 30 likes, and then we can start today's show. I'm going to take a look at why I think this win against the Falcons is 100 times better than most people realize. And after seeing some of these advanced stats and PFF numbers come out of the game, I think Dolphins fans should be really optimistic about where things may be headed with some certain rookies on the team. And then we'll also talk about some injury news. We got a bunch of updates on players who got hurt in Sunday's game, if they're going to be able to play this Thursday. Also, players on IR, could they potentially come back? We have a lot to discuss on today's show. Just a quick 2-segment live show here because kind of hard to do more than that with so many news and nuggets coming out over the next 48 hours. Like 48 hours from now, Coop, we're on the eve of the game.
Unbelievable, yeah. It's a quick week, so stay tuned because we're going to have a lot of content for you guys.
Second Thursday night football game of the year for Miami. The one before, the mentioned Buffalo Bills game in Buffalo. This one is at home. Will be fascinating to see. But we did get 235 likes. Appreciate everybody for hitting that thumbs up icon here. With that being said, Coop, when you are ready, let's get into the first segment on today's live show on how this win is 100 times better than we originally thought. PrizePicks the sponsor. Let's get into it. Go. The Miami Dolphins got their second win of the season in Atlanta this past Sunday, 34-10. And after seeing some advanced stats come out, some of these PFF grades for these rookies in Miami, this win is 100 times better. I'm Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. And you might be asking yourself, we're 2-6. The season's probably over. How is this win even better than I realized? Well, one, for the crowd that is going to complain about winning a meaningless game in the grand scheme of the season because this team isn't going to win a Super Bowl or compete in the playoffs and it just ruined draft position, it really did not. If you lost, would you have been in a better spot? Yeah, absolutely. You actually would have been either the first or second overall pick. Right now, you have the 5th pick. So it's like you didn't even move that much off of your draft spot coming into the week. The team that had the number 1 overall pick, New York Jets, they won as well. So it's not like you lost any ground in the loss column or win column, if you will, for the number 1 overall pick if you are on that side of the aisle. But the reason why this win is even better, in my opinion, is because we finally saw almost the entire rookie draft class from Miami that they just took in 2025 contribute positively to a win. I'm talking Kenneth Grant, Jonah Savinaya, Ollie Gordon, Dante Trader Jr. Like, it's the first game all season where you can confidently say almost every single one of them contributed to this win. There have been games where one of them has had a good game. There has been most of the games where all of them have been bad, but never have they all been good like this one. And we're going to take a look at some of their numbers and stats here. But we are under 100 subscribers away from 77,000. Join the Dolphins Today family for daily Dolphins content. And we will be live on Thursday against the Ravens for Thursday Night Football. So subscribe, join the channel, and be on the lookout for our content. We're going to start with the 6th-round running back out of Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon, because he was actually the 7th highest graded running back in the NFL for Week 8 on Pro Football Focus. And it's hard to blame PFF for being so high on the performance from Gordon. I think it is, without a question, his most productive performance of the year. The other good performance would have been in Week 3 against the Bills, where he got a ton of carries and was worked a lot in short yardage, even entered the end zone on the ground. Gordon entered the end zone once again this week, but through the air on a 20-yard screen pass. Ran that little Texas screen that they love to run for Devon Achane, where the running back goes in motion, runs directly to the sideline, couple steps, and then verts back in on an angle with blockers in front, and was able to reach the end zone on a great block from Aaron Brewer. He was just phenomenal in this game on Sunday, by the way, in his own right. Quick sidebar there. But you see it. He averaged 4.6 yards per carry against Atlanta. He was actually the most efficient back. Achane averaged about 3.8 yards per carry. Jalen Wright about 3.1. But OG2 was just delivering big-time runs consistently inside the tackles for this Dolphins rushing attack that had 141 yards. And this is not just a game-by-game thing with Gordon. This is the entire season. Ollie Gordon has not had that many carries this year. He's only tallied 23 through the first 8 weeks of the year. But if you look at every running back in the National Football League who has had at least 20 carries through 8 weeks, Ollie Gordon ranks 4th in the NFL in success rate of runs in between the tackles with a 56.5% success run rate. That is 4th in the NFL. The only players he trails is Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine, which I don't know how that's possible, and I believe the other one was Jonathan Taylor. Point is, the Dolphins drafted Ollie Gordon in the 6th round to be a nice change of pace back with Devon Achane, who's obviously smaller in stature, a kind of speed guy, a weapon. OG, he's 6'2", 225, built like a truck, and he always falls forward. Those two are going to be very complementary of each other going forward, and it's exciting to see Ollie Gordon continue to get work and continue to succeed for this Miami Dolphins football team. We're going to stick on the offense here and move to the 2nd-round pick out of Arizona, Jonah Savianaya, because without a shadow of doubt, he had his best game of the season against the Falcons. And I'm not going to come up here and tell you that he broke new records and was the highest-graded offensive lineman this week. No, he was actually still below average. But based off where we have been, this is a vast improvement for the rookie out of Arizona. He graded out in the mid to low 50s in overall run block and pass block, but he didn't allow a sack, only was charted giving up 2 pressures. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Jonah has been horrific this year. He is the worst graded offensive lineman in all of football, but he has been consistently putting up pass blocking grades under 20 and run blocking grades around the 50s and 40s. So for him to finally put a game together where it wasn't so bad in pass protection, that is a good step forward. And I do have a kind of feeling why this was Jonah's best game that I'll explain here in just 1 second. But pin comment on today's show. I've been very worried. I know most of you have been worried as well when it comes to Jonah and his NFL career. Do you feel better after a solid performance against the Atlanta Falcons? Type Y for yes or N for no. I did want to show you his PFF grades throughout the entire season. This was his best game graded by Pro Football Focus since the opening game against the Indianapolis Colts. You look at the pass blocking grades, man. I mentioned under 20. How about under 10, where he's been there in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 games this season? But you do feel like he is getting a little bit better on a week-to-week basis. And one thing I do want to point out with this still being on screen is the consistent run blocking grades. Are they good? No. Are they elite? No. Are they below average? Yes. But they are his calling card. And that was his calling card coming out of Arizona. He was tagged as a better run blocker than a pass protector. He also was tagged as someone who fit really well in a zone run blocking scheme due to his athleticism and ability to pull and get to the second level. Well, why did he have the most success in his young NFL career this past week against Atlanta in comparison to the other years or weeks? It's because the run game was so much of a key and point driven in this week. They ran the ball 37 times, and we know Jonah's a better run blocker. So if you get him going, like there has been a cliche out there is like, hey, you call some run plays to get your offensive linemen engaged. You get them firing off the line of scrimmage, get them physical, get them excited, and then you could have them bounce back in pass protection and be better. Well, if you have a more well-balanced offensive attack, it gives Jonah a fighting chance. When you are predictable and one-dimensional and you fall behind early to where you're throwing the ball 70% of the game and defenses can just pin their earbacks and rush the passer with no threat of the run game, well then, yeah, a smaller guard who struggles pass protecting is going to have a difficult time holding his own when the opposing team knows it's a pass play 65, 70% of the time. So, like, having that well-balanced attack offensively and keeping the defense on their toes is only going to help your young left guard as well. Now, I do want to point this out. When you watch the tape, the All-22, there are still a lot of bad reps by Jonah Savianaya. And the part that is the most evident is how he is so struggle-ish, not a word, making it up, with the power rush. When he gets lined up one-on-one with a strong physical defensive tackle and they just go boom right into Jonah's chest and drive him back, that's where he struggles. So if I'm Jonah, I think there's a lot that he can work on, and I do think there is a chance he progresses throughout the rest of the season and gets better for his second year, but he's going to have to really add a ton of strength this year. Lower body, his core, because when he's getting blown off the ball and driven right into his lap about 5-6 times a game, that's just unsustainable. But if he's able to have a better core, better anchor, and not be pushed back as frequently, it will force opposing defensive linemen to revert to other pass rush moves, to where then Jonah's athleticism and technique could come into play more. But you have to be able to stop the power and bull rush first and force opposing defensive linemen to go to their secondary moves. So a lot to improve on, but it's getting better for the young offensive lineman from Arizona. We got more coming up here, but this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, and the football season continues on, and the action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. So simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. How you play is up to you. You want flexibility? Choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. If you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. I had entry already placed for Monday Night Football. More than Matt Gay, half a field goal made. Less than Patrick Mahomes passing yards. And more than Rashee Rice receiving yards. But just a couple hours before kickoff, Matt Gay was ruled out with his injury. So Prize Picks, they actually just remove him from the entry, and it will become a 2-player entry with Mahomes and Rashee Rice. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Let's segue from the offensive rookies to the defensive rookies. And I want to start with the 5th-round safety out of Maryland, Dante Trader Jr., who actually was the 2nd highest graded safety by Pro Football Focus during NFL Week 8. Obviously, one more game to go between Washington and Kansas City. But Dante Trader Jr. played one heck of a ball game. He played in 37 snaps, the 3rd most at the safety position. Miami only played 3 safeties due to Ashtyn Davis getting banged up super early on a special teams play. But Dante Trader Jr. received an 83.7 overall grade, and he really excelled in coverage. 80.6 grade by Pro Football Focus. Did not allow a single reception. Wasn't technically targeted, but did have a really nice PBU in a zone scheme. It was actually such a great play. The Falcons had a perfectly dialed up corner route against cover 2. Miami was running a little cover 2. The wide receiver, Kadero Hodge, sneaks past that short zone flat right near the boundary before the stick, so he gets behind him. And Dante Trader Jr. reads that. No vertical route, so he doesn't have to worry about getting beat over the middle of the field. Breaks on the ball from Kirk Cousins. And as the ball gets to Kadero Hodges' hands on the sideline. Trader Jr. comes in and smacks it out and forces the incompletion. That just shows the instincts and the recovery speed that Dante Trader Jr. possesses. It's why Miami was so high on him when they drafted him in the 5th round and believed that he could be a leader on the back end of this defense for years to come. But I also like the versatility that Dante Trader Jr. possesses. His alignment in this game against Atlanta was all over the place. He lined up at deep ranging free safety 18 out of his 37 snaps, but you also saw him in the slot defending Kyle Pitts at times and defending some other wide receivers. You also saw him in the box helping stop the run in 8 snaps. So this just goes back to my point. Like, he's so versatile. I appreciate defensive players that can play all over the field. It's why Minkah Fitzpatrick is so utilized and so important to this Miami Dolphins defense. And it's why Dante Trader Jr. is continuing to get a larger role for this football team. I mentioned it. Ashtyn Davis got hurt, so that may have played a factor into it. But Miami only played 3 safeties in this game against Atlanta. Minkah Fitzpatrick played 43 snaps. Ifeatu Melifonwu played 44. And Dante Trader Jr. played 37. Those were the snap distributions of safety. So I assume Miami on a short week against Baltimore is probably going to do the same thing here and just run Trader Jr., Melifonwu, and Fitzpatrick at safety. And it's hard to blame them with Dante Trader Jr. getting better and better every single week. Speaking of getting better and better, the Dolphins' first-round pick out of Michigan, 13th overall, Kenneth Grant, he has been bad. But against the Browns and against the Falcons, you started to really sense him having an impact in the game. And we could talk about the All-22 film. We could talk about the PFF grades all you want. But here's the truth. When you watch the game live, you know a defensive lineman, especially on the interior, is playing well and making an impact when it stands out watching the game live on TV. I mean, Coop, how many times over the last 2 weeks have I just literally said, oh, there's Kenneth Grant making a play? And it's sometimes not even making the tackle, folks. It's him pushing back the center, the offensive guard, and getting an instant impact push in a run play, which kind of makes the running back who is supposed to maybe get in that hole next to the left guard, oh, I have to now bounce it to the outside because this left guard is pushed back in my grill because Kenneth Grant pushed him back and got a great push. Or maybe he swims, gets some pressure on the interior. Like, you're starting to notice an impact with Kenneth Grant. He had 2 pressures this week against the Atlanta Falcons. And as you look at his PFF grades for the entire season and how it is charted, look at how he has played over the last 3 weeks. Listen, there's no sugarcoating it. He was abysmal through the first 5 weeks of the year against the Colts, Patriots, Bills, Jets, and Panthers. And I'm not saying he's been elite, but it has been noticeably better where you can legitimately point on the television during the game live and say, oh, that run play tackle by Jordan Brooks, 1 yard downfield, only a gain of 1, that was made because Kenneth Grant got a big push there. Like, it just has been there. Like, and I just want to keep on building. I am not going to sit up here and claim that the 4 rookies we're talking about today are good or great selections, because that is not the case at this point. Jonah still has been horrible. Kenneth Grant has still been extremely disappointing, as has Dante Trader Jr. Can't say that about Ollie Gordon, because for a 6th-round running back who hasn't got a ton of work, I think he has been phenomenal in the opportunities given to him. But the other 3 that we've talked about have been non-existent or hurting this team. And it's unfair to expect the rookies to have such a large impact, and that's just where this Dolphins roster was coming into the year. But with them starting, maybe, just maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but with a good performance from all 4 of them against Atlanta, maybe they are just starting to turn a corner here halfway through the year. They understand the speed of the NFL. They understand the physicality of it. They understand what it takes in a preparation standpoint from a week-to-week basis to get ready for each game. So just stay with me here. It's something to monitor. This rookie class had a great performance this Sunday against the Falcons. Let's see if they can build on it and put together another good game on a short week against the Ravens. And if they do that, well, then maybe we're cooking with gas. That'll do it for this episode of Dolphins Today. We'll be back tomorrow with 2 videos as we get you ready for Week 9 Thursday Night Football, Baltimore, Miami in the 305. Hit that sub button. Let's get to 77K before kickoff. All right, one segment down and in the books here on our Victory Monday live show.
The promising rookie class.
Getting a little bit better.
I'm a Dante Trader guy.
Are you now?
Like the way he plays. Like the way he plays the game of football.
What stands out to you, Coop? What makes you like him so much?
Feels like a physical football player, man. And I think you need more of that on this Dolphins team. They've kind of, through the first 7 or 8 weeks, been a little soft, in my opinion. And I think you need someone like Dante who's not afraid to go make a play and go hit somebody.
Okay. I mean, I'm certainly intrigued.
And he's going to have to play more, like you said, especially with the potential absence of Ashtyn Davis, which we will talk about here soon.
Oh, man. I'm seeing Phil upgrade him as an A, Airplanes and Fun C. How would y'all grade the rookie class so far this season? I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I'm going D+.
I was going to say a D.
Yeah, like I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid because of one good game. It was a good
It was a good game, and we say that.
But Jonah's been so bad, and Kenneth Grant's been such a disappointment so far. I just still have to say D+. Ollie Gordon definitely raises it from a D to a D+.
Yep.
I can't really say any other rookie has been. Jordan Phillips, the defensive lineman from Maryland as well, he's been fine, but haven't really stood out to me so much. By the way, he is absolutely jacked. Like, you think of defensive linemen as like bigger guys. Same thing with offensive linemen, and like there's a lot of flub there to go along with the muscle, and they have to be like that because you have to be that big to play those positions. Jordan Phillips, like I'm actually convinced that all of his weight is muscle.
He has no body fat.
Like I'm telling you, you watch this guy in the behind-the-scenes locker room videos. You watch him, and you see pictures posted on the social media of him walking to and on and off the team plane wearing hoodies, and it's like these hoodies, dude, are like they're
just form-fitting,
and I'm like, holy shit! Like these guys usually are big. This guy's just yoked. Jordan Phillips is a specimen.
I like that, man. I mean, you want the likes of him, Zeke Biggers, those kind of guys to develop and continue to, maybe if they're not making an impact on the field this year, to get to a point where they can make an impact on the field next year and in the years beyond. So Jordan Phillips has played a little bit during this season.
He's actually been very consistent in his play time.
And
like,
Zeke Biggers has not really played at all.
He was active for a couple of games, but that's really it. He's been mostly like healthy and active, just like bottom of the barrel guy. They've been going with Benito Jones, which, by the way, actually, let me pull it up. I don't think did Benito play a lot this game. Like
we never said his name once.
Yeah, and I was looking at the PFF grades today, and I don't remember that really standing out to me. Let me see how many snaps he played. Benito Jones played just 12 snaps. Yeah. So he actually was 4th in defensive lineman snaps this week.
So Sealer.
It was Zach Sealer 1 at 32. Kenneth Grant 2 at 25, Jordan Phillips 3rd at 16, Matthew Butler 4th at 15, and then Benito Jones at 12. But Jordan Phillips has certainly taken over. He actually, ironically enough, maybe I should have included him in the video. I just didn't see him stand out that much on tape as much as like a Kenneth Grant and Dante Trader Jr. Jordan Phillips was actually the 6th highest graded defensive player on Miami this week.
How many defensive snaps were there?
50.
And Zach Sealer only played 32 of those. Is that abnormal?
Well, remember, Miami pulled their starters for the final.
Oh, that's also that's
for the final 8 minutes of the game. So that could have an impact. Before we get into the final video on today's live show, a little bit of trivia for you, Coop. 50 defensive snaps in this game. Nobody played every single defensive snap because some starters got pulled late. Who played the most snaps defensively in this game for Miami? And I'll open it up to the people in the chat as well. Remember what I just said. Dolphins defense was on the field for 50 snaps. The leading snap defender was 48. Who was it?
Jordan Brooks.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
I am not going to reveal if that is correct or not because I want to give the chat a chance to guess correctly if they have not looked at the PFF grades. Coops go with Jordan Brooks. What player played in 48 of the 50 defensive snaps for Miami, the most on the team?
Maybe I'm saying Jordan Brooks. It felt like he was everywhere around the football.
Airplanes and Fun saying Bradley Chubb.
Well, no.
Kevin saying Jordan Brooks as well. Is there any other guesses out there?
My only other guess, and it's not even right, so I'm not even going to say it.
What would it be, though? I'm curious.
It would have been KJ Britt.
That's a terrible guess.
That's why I said it's not right, so I'm not going to say it.
That is... Never mind.
That's why I said it.
I see someone say Minka. I see MJ saying Minka. Blue saying Minka. John saying Minka. BR says Brooks or Rasul Douglas. And Niels says Rasul Douglas. So the right answer has been said.
Ooh, I don't think it's Rasul Douglas. It's not Minka. He got hurt.
The right answer has been said.
I think it was by me.
You think it was by you?
Yeah.
That would be incorrect. It was Rasul Douglas getting 48 snaps.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
Jordan Brooks only played in 37 of the 50 defensive snaps.
Dante Trader played 38?
37 as well.
Okay.
You saw KJ Britt and Willie Gay play 13 snaps. They both played the final 13 defensive snaps where Jordan Brooks came out. So
I could have guessed Tyrell Dodson as well.
I can't. Is this the real Chiefs report by Chat Sports saying Cam Smith? Cam Smith is thankfully no longer employed by the Miami Dolphins.
I don't think Cam Smith will be employed by any
I would have to
NFL
agree
organization.
With that. I'd have to agree with that. I would. All right, let's move into the final segment on today's live show. No mailbag today.
No sack.
If you do want to get on the show, super chat. We'll get that on screen. If you have any thoughts following the game against the Falcons or want to ask a question, go ahead. But we'll go into the next segment on today's live show. And we also have a new sponsor to tell people about. And I'm ready, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, but just a little hint. Just a little hint. The chain is nice. The chain is nice for sure. I just don't know where I'd wear it though. No, you're not.
I'm going to take it home for the weekend and before you even notice.
I would notice, Coop.
No, you would.
Yes, I would. I absolutely would.
When I go to Austin this weekend, I might wear it out.
No, you're not. No, you're not. All right, let's get into the final segment on today's live show. Appreciate everybody hanging with us here on a Monday afternoon. Cooperstein, when you're ready, man. All right. We have a lot of news to discuss here on this morning's edition of Dolphins Today. We have good news and bad news. And unfortunately, there are more pieces of bad news than there are good news. But the Dolphins did get a win, and there's a lot of injury news to follow that. And you should follow me over on Twitter/X at Nic_Rohloff is my handle. If you want up-to-date news on the Dolphins, I made all of my posts following the game, all of my tweets covering the news before making this video here. Go give me a follow. 29 away from 2,500. Let's get there from today's show. We're going to start with the good news and the positives because, like I said, there's more negatives. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, he left the game against the Falcons late in the fourth quarter with a hand injury, but he will be good to go for Thursday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. This is big-time stuff for Miami. Mike McDaniel actually said on his Monday afternoon press conference that if the game was, tight and they needed defensive stops, he would have been able to return to the game. But since the game was so lopsided and 30-point win for Miami, they really felt no need to bring him in, and that's the right decision. Minkah Fitzpatrick has been, without a question, your best defensive player. I really don't know where you would be without Minkah this season, and I have a take loading, not that it would really matter, but I actually think if you go back to the Jonnu Smith trade, which featured Jonnu and Jalen Ramsey going to the Steelers, Minkah coming to Miami alongside draft capital, I think Miami has won the trade. It's a hot take, and like I said, I don't think it would matter in the grand scheme of the season because this Dolphins football team is not very good. But Jalen Ramsey has been very bad in coverage this year. Jonnu Smith has been borderline non-existent in Pittsburgh, and we saw Darren Waller give equal, if not better, production in the small 3-week sample size before his injury than Jonnu Smith. And Minka has been a top 10 graded safety in the NFL and been pivotal to any success Miami's had defensively. He's been able to play the nickel position for the Dolphins. He's played the free safety spot. He's been excellent in coverage, and he's been even solid in the run game. Minka's been awesome for Miami, and if the Dolphins want to rattle off some wins here to potentially get the season back in the swing and create some upsets and chaos down the stretch, Minka Fitzpatrick's necessary, so good to see him healthy. Some other injury news coming out of this game on Sunday. Ashtyn Davis, who played no defensive snaps because he got hurt early in the game on special teams, he is day-to-day with a quad injury. And Eskridge, who also got hurt early in this game on a special teams play, is day-to-day with a shoulder injury. Both players unlikely to play this Thursday against the Baltimore Ravens because of the short week. If the game was on Sunday, I think Davis and Eskridge would have a chance. But with such a quick turnaround, it's going to be pretty hard pressed for Davis or Eskridge to be available for Miami on Thursday night. So where does that leave Miami? We'll start at the safety position, where Davis has been getting some snaps, but because of that injury on special teams, Miami went with a 3-safety look against the Falcons, and the alignment was Ifeatu Melifonwu playing 44 snaps, Minka Fitzpatrick playing 43 snaps, and Dante Trader Jr. appearing in 37 snaps. Trader Jr. was actually the second highest graded safety by Pro Football Focus in NFL Week 8. So a really good and encouraging performance from the rookie out of Maryland. Melifonwu has been very up and down this season, and we've already highlighted the success and importance of Minka Fitzpatrick. I would expect Miami to go with these three once again in rotation, whether it's Minka in the slot, Trader Jr. and Melifonwu deep, or even we saw Trader Jr. get about 11 snaps in the slot this past week against Atlanta as well. Expect these 3 safeties to be moved around quite a bit. All right, let's talk about the Eskridge fallout now, because he is Miami's 5th wide receiver and the secondary kick returner alongside Malik Washington. Well, with Eskridge out for this game in all likelihood, you can expect the other Washington, Taj Washington, to be active as that 5th wide receiver. He has been active for 1 game earlier this season. And if you're asking who is going to be the other kick returner opposite of Malik Washington, I think it's going to be Ollie Gordon, but I could also see it being Taj Washington, assuming he is made active, because they don't want to potentially get Gordon hurt since he has a key role in the Dolphins offense as that RB2. But Gordon did take that kind of position over as the other kick returner. He had 1 return for 25 yards. Malik Washington is the main returner for Miami, but I could see OG2 or Taj Washington filling that void. I have more bad news on the injury front for the Miami Dolphins. Cornerback Storm Duck is out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. He got hurt in this game late. I think it was early 4th quarter. Cart had to come out and get him, and he was carted off. Everybody feared the worst. Whenever you see a cart in the middle of a game, it's never ideal, and the injury is season-ending. Now, actually, as we were filming this on Monday afternoon, there was no official update on what the injury is. They just said season-ending knee injury. You'd have to assume it's either an MCL, ACL, or PCL, as those are the injuries that usually end your campaign. And it's a tough break for Storm Duck. It is. Obviously, he got some playing time late last year as a UDFA rookie and played pretty well down the stretch. Came into this season as the CB1. I mean, probably shouldn't have been allowed to be that CB1, but he came into the year as the CB1. It was supposed to be Kader Kohou, Storm Duck as your top 2 corners. Well, Kohou gets a season-ending injury before the year, and then you see Storm Duck get hurt in week 1. And I can't believe the Storm Duck injury. Look, week 1, ankle injury against the Colts, out for 5 weeks after that. Finally healthy enough to return and make his snaps debut back in week 8. Out for the year with a knee injury. Just absolutely brutal stuff here for Storm Duck, and it leaves the Dolphins cornerback room in a tough spot. They have actually 4 technical corners on their roster right now, 5 if you count Storm Duck. Obviously, still have Rasul Douglas, Jack Jones, Juju Brents, and Ethan Bonner. But Storm Duck is now out for the year. They have Jason Marshall Jr. still on IR, but remember, folks, and this roster move is likely to happen over the next 24 hours. Storm Duck, with his season-ending injury, is likely going to be placed on IR. Jason Marshall Jr. had his 21-day practice window to return from IR opened before Week 8. So he's already had about 8 or 9 days of his practice window pass without being activated. And there was a point made that Marshall Jr. may have been able to play this Sunday, but they went with other direction. So I do expect the corresponding roster move to Storm Duck being placed on IR to ultimately be Jason Marshall Jr. being activated back to the roster. He was the starting nickel corner before his injury on Thursday Night Football against the Bills. We'll see if he regains that nickel spot or if they stick with what they've been doing, which is more of a 3 safety look and Minkah Fitzpatrick playing in the slot. All right, we got a new sponsor I'm excited about here at Dolphins Today, and that is GLD. I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually love rocking some jewelry, especially some chains. Sometimes you get low-quality junk that is overpriced, and it's just so annoying. That's until I found GLD. They've changed the game. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank. And for a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code CHAT at 50% or at GLD.com to get 50% off plus a free chain. GLD has an official collab with the NFL, so you can get every NFL team on a pendant this season. They also have collabs with NBA, WNBA, MLB, NCAA, MLS, and even DC Comics. Chains and pendants that let you rep what you love. You can also create custom pieces, whether it's iced out chains or a one-of-one pendant. GLD can bring it to life. And they actually hooked me up with some sweet gear, man. Look at this thing. This Dolphins chain is absolutely legit. I'm fired up about it. And it's so awesome that I can rep the Dolphins even when they stink with this sweet chain from GLD. Work hard and change the game. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 50% off plus a free chain at GLD.com. That's 50% off and a free chain with code CHAT at GLD.com. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them Dolphins Today sent you. That link's in the description and comments of today's video. Oh, and by the way, did I mention our boy Tyreek Hill is an ambassador for GLD? More bad news. None of the players on IR are going to return on this short week for the Miami Dolphins. So not only did we have Ashtyn Davis get hurt, Eskridge get hurt, Storm Duck out for the year, well, we're not getting any reinforcements. Specifically, I was eyeing the offensive line because obviously the players that are still on IR from the beginning of the season are Austin Jackson, James Daniels, Liam Eichenberg, Andrew Meyer, and Jason Sanders. Jason Sanders is going to still be out, which means Riley Patterson is going to continue to be your kicker. Andrew Meyer and Eichenberg have literally been on IR and PUP respectively since the preseason. And James Daniels and Austin Jackson both got hurt in week 1. Daniels with the pec injury, Jackson with the toe injury. Both still on IR. It's just devastating it is because your left tackle, left guard, center combination of Brewer, Paul, and Savignaya have been healthy all year long. Yet your 2 veterans that you were relying on to be a blindside protector for Tua at right guard and right tackle haven't been able to play whatsoever. And it's left you with Cole Strange and Larry Borum at that right side of the O-line. And Larry Borum, give him a little bit of credit, has certainly improved his play throughout the season. But, not having Daniels and Jackson have just been such a heartbreaker. And it's disappointing to see these guys now going on, week 8 of not returning? IR forces you to miss at least 4 games. They miss this week against week 9, which they already said they will. That will be 2 minimum IR stints. 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Who returns first? I'll give you a little inside info here in a second, but who do you think ultimately returns to the Dolphins offensive line first? Austin Jackson or James Daniels? Type AJ for Austin Jackson or type JD for James Daniels. Now, according to some rumors and reports out there, Austin Jackson is closer to returning than James Daniels with that toe injury. That just tells me that the pec injury that James Daniels suffered in week 1 against the Colts, actually on the first drive of the game. I think it was on snap number 3 offensively for the season. How much of a joke is that, by the way? He must be dealing with something serious in that pack. And I get it. You probably don't want to bring him back if you're not going to be contending because you don't want to re-aggravate the injury and make it worse for the future. But just so disheartening and disappointing to see those injuries. All right, let's talk about some Ravens updates now because this has been an underachieving football team. They're 2-5. Lamar Jackson's been hurt, but he is going to make his return, of course, against the Miami Dolphins. And they're starting to get healthy overall, too. Roquan Smith is back. Kyle Hamilton is back. Marlon Humphrey is back. Ronnie Staley is back, one of their top offensive linemen. I mean, it's just, of course, right? The Dolphins can never be healthy, but opposing teams get healthy right as they're going to play Miami. And Lamar Jackson's obviously been in the news this past week about the phantom injury designation. Was it real reporting? Was it not? But it feels 100% that Lamar Jackson is going to make his long-awaited return to the quarterback spot for Baltimore this Thursday against Miami. You also are going to hopefully see J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray return to the quarterback spot for the Vikings and Cardinals, respectively. I'll say this, folks. I think we're in for a shootout on Thursday night. I really do. I haven't checked what the over-under is just yet, but the Ravens' defense has been bad. The Dolphins' defense has been bad. And with the Ravens' offense being healthy, Miami is going to have to score a lot of points in this game. They're capable of doing it. The Dolphins' offense technically ranks 28th this year in yards per game and 21st in scoring offense. But I truly do believe they are capable of scoring 28, 30 points in this one, and they're going to have to. I mean, you look at the Ravens' offense there, they're 8th in rushing, even without Lamar Jackson for the last handful of games. Miami's rushing defense jumped from 32nd to 28th. Talk about what good performance can do for you. You went from 32 to 28. How about that, folks? But the point I'm trying to make with showing this graphic is that if you look at the defenses, 23rd and 28th in yards, and you look at the scoring defense, it's 26th and 30th. So you got two of the worst defenses in the NFL. You have two groups that don't really get after the quarterback whatsoever. You saw there Baltimore 30th this season in sacks. I'm a little bit stunned that Miami's 7-point underdogs. Maybe this is biased, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid from the Week 8 win against Atlanta. But 7 at home? Give me Miami in that one, man. I'm not picking the Dolphins to win, but do we really think the Ravens are going to come into Miami and win by more than 7? Feels disrespectful. Guess the odds makers aren't believing in the Dolphins after this performance this past week against Atlanta. But we'll be here every stretch of the way, so make sure you hit that sub button and join us live for the game on Thursday as well. It's going to be a fun one. Me and Coop will be there, so subscribe and join us.
Do I need to put U.S. currency on the Dolphins +7? Kind of feeling it.
I might be placing U.S. currency on the Miami Dolphins.
Kind of feeling it. Austin Jackson or James Daniels, who returns first? It sounds like Austin Jackson is slated to return before James Daniels does. Could we see AJ in Week 10?
I don't know, but I wouldn't go that far.
You don't think we see him in Week 10?
Yeah.
Another week and a half after?
Until I hear from Mike McDaniel they're coming back, I'm not doing it.
Some of these injuries this year for the Dolphins have been so weird.
Yeah.
The Jason Sanders injury, that was random. We thought, he's going on IR. He'll be back after 4 weeks. He might not kick this season. Austin Jackson and James Daniels both get hurt in Week 1. Have not seen them since. Storm Duck, out for the season with the knee injury. They don't tell us what knee injury it is.
Well,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's been frustrating. Carson Wentz out for the rest of the year.
Oh my God.
They forced him to play with a torn labrum.
Jesus.
I don't know what the injury is.
He should sue him.
I'm seeing if the injury. Holy.
What's up?
The estimated injury report for Miami today is long.
It's long.
Yeah.
Ashtyn Davis, I'm sure.
Actually, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people with limited participation or worse. Bradley Chubb on the list with a shoulder foot injury,
Jesus.
DNP. We'll see. Davis with a quad, Eskridge with a shoulder, Duck with a knee, Julian Hill with an ankle, obviously, who missed this past week, and Ifeatu Malfun was limited with a thumb, but he'll be fine. So, interesting there. Still got about 65 people watching. We'll stay live here if a super chat comes in. If not, we'll sign off here on a Victory Monday and see you live again on Thursday for Week 9 action. Or we will see you with videos over the next couple of days, which that will be the case. But
And Rolly will be wearing the Dolphin suit. That's
right. I forgot about that. Is it bad? Should I bring it home to wash it?
You can take a look at it. I would recommend it, though.
Okay. I will do that.
Did you have your own washer dryer?
I do, yeah.
Really?
Now
Nice.
I do, yeah.
You bought your own?
Well, it was in my place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it comes with it. Give me my money. Who will win, Ravens or Dolphins?
I'm probably going to still pick the Ravens, but I think
I am
7
too.
points.
Yeah, I agree. Todd Williams says keep Mike McDaniel, lose Greer. That's more likely than the other way around, but both of them are going to be gone. Cliff D. Oh, Ryan. No trench players take time to develop. Yes, Kenneth Grant will take some time to develop, and as we've seen over the course of the season, he has played better as time gone on.
Yeah, to be fair, the other Michigan defensive lineman, Mason Graham, has been horrific.
He's
for the
been really
Browns.
bad.
Yeah, he's been bad. All right. I think that's going to do it for today's live show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us here on a Victory Monday. We'll see you with videos out later today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll be live on Thursday for Dolphins, Ravens, Thursday night football.
Be there, be square.
Be there, be square. Halloween edition. I'll be wearing the Dolphin suit. That's for sure. Peace out, Dolphins fans.
Later.